In this video, we're going to focus on installment buying. And what that means is that refers to the situation where an individual wants to either borrow a lump sum of money or buy an item that has a specified cost, such as maybe an appliance like a large refrigerator that's expensive. Maybe they can't afford to buy it outright, or perhaps a car, or maybe some furniture. So think big purchases, a computer where, they can't purchase the whole item in cash. And so they enter into an agreement with a lender where they purchase the item and then make payments on it over a fixed amount of time. Typically, these payments are monthly, and these fixed payments are called installments. And I'm sure you can recall a time where you were out either at the store shopping, or maybe even driving by a store. Mattress stores are great for this. If you just look in their windows, you'll see advertisement that say things like, 12 months, same as cash, or make monthly payments. They're trying to advertise some lending options to people where they can make these monthly installments rather than buying the whole entire mattress up front, because, they can be expensive. And so for the installment loans in this section, you can assume the lender computes the simple interest for the purchase, and then they add it to the cost of the item, and then they spread it out over monthly payments. And then you can hopefully remember, but if not, I'm going to jog your memory. So simple interest, we're going to use the simple interest formula. So I equals P RT is a simple interest formula. P stands for principal, so that's the amount of the item times the rate that the lender will give you, and then time, remember, is always in years. So let's go ahead and jump into our first example. So in installment buying example 1, Zuzu bought a computer for $450, including tax. So that means we don't have to calculate the tax. She did not make a down payment. She financed all $450 for 18 months at 10% interest. What is her monthly payment? So in order to find the monthly payment, we need to figure out the amount financed. So I'm just going to write down monthly payment. And I've got some formulas in this box above that can be helpful. This doesn't actually include how you could calculate monthly payment, so I'm just going to write that here. So to find the monthly payment, we can just take the amount financed plus any finance charges and divide by the number of months. So we just divide it up evenly so that each month we're making the same payment. And so let's go ahead and find the finance charge for this computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a simple interest formula. So I equals P times R times T, principal times rate times time. So the principal in this case is $450, and then we multiply it by the rate as a decimal. So 10% as a decimal is 0.10, and then time is always in years. So 18 months is equivalent to 1.5 years. And if you're ever not sure, what you can do is you can take the months and divide by 12. So years is always equal the number of months divided by 12. And so we can calculate that over here. And we end up getting $67.50. So that is the finance charge. So the amount financed, that's the amount that she's borrowing, or he is borrowing, and so that would be $450. And so this person needs to borrow $450, but they also need to pay back that $67.50 to the lender in exchange for them loaning the money. And so what we're going to do to find the monthly payment is I'm going to take the amount financed, the $450, plus the $67.50. So I'm following this formula that I wrote up here. So amount financed, what we borrow, plus any extra charges, we're going to add those together. That's kind of like our grand total, divided by the number of months that they want to pay. And so they're going to pay for 18 months, so we're going to divide it by 18. So I'm going to come over here, my calculator, so 450 plus 67.50, and then dividing that up into 18 payments gives us $28.80. $1,000,000.75 a month. All right, so let's look at example 2. So in example 2, Eric buys a dryer for $800. He made a 20% down payment and financed the rest over 2 years. So find the monthly payment if the finance charge was 8% of the amount financed, round to the nearest cent. So this is similar to the last example, except this down payment part. So we're going to calculate the down payment first and see how that factors into the overall situation. And so down payment, you can see up here in our formula box, it's just it also is called the percent down, and we're going to take that as a decimal and just multiply it by the cost of the item. So this is what we're doing here. So percent as a decimal times the cost of the item. So 20% as a decimal, we just drop the percent sign and move the decimal 2 spots left. So we're going to, so for the down payment, DP, we're going to take 0.20 times $800, and that's going to give us $160. Then we want to find the amount financed, and this is exactly what we did in the last example. Remember, amount financed is just the money borrowed and charged interest. And so we need to take the cost of the item minus the down payment. So we're going to take the cost of the item, which is $800, minus the down payment, which is $160, and then we get $640. So that's the amount borrowed. Now that we know the amount borrowed, we can find the finance charge. And that is the interest that this person, this Eric, needs to pay in exchange for the lender loaning him the money. So to find that finance charge, we're going to use the interest equals principal times rate times time, so simple interest formula. And we're going to plug in, so for principal, we're going to use the amount financed. So we're going to figure out how much interest does he have to pay on $640. And then the rate is 0.20, and then the time, he's going to pay it off over 2 years. So we're going to put in a 2 there. So I'm just going to multiply 640 times 0.20 times 2. And that gives us 256. So that's $256. And so to find the monthly payment, all we need to do is calculate the total amount that Eric needs to pay back. And so he needs to pay back the amount financed plus the finance charge. So we're going to take 640 plus 256. I didn't need parentheses there. Actually, you know what it would be helpful is I'm gonna keep that one parenthesis, but I don't need the other. So we're gonna do 640 plus the 256, and then we're gonna divide it by the number of months. And so 2 years is 24 months. So just up here I have years equals months divided by 12. So 2 years is equal to the months divided by 12, so we can just multiply by 12 and we get 24. So we're going to divide by 24. So just to be clear here, a step back, what I'm doing here is I'm taking the amount financed, so AF, amount financed, plus the finance charge, and divided by the number of months. So in my calculator, I'll do 640 plus 256 and divide by 24 payments. And then that will give me the amount that Eric has to pay per month for the dryer. So $37, and we always round to the nearest cent, so that's 2 digits after the decimal place. So this case, $37.33 per month for the dryer.